Gemini.
Hello, Gemini. This is your astrological forecast for November 2016. And last month, in October, it appeared that you had more time to spend with your children or your loved one. It was just a very, very fun time for you. But now we're angling in to that portion of your chart, which is wanting to look at your daily routines and how it's working for you. Keeping and embracing those things that really keep you up and going and efficient is great. It's more like also looking at those things that do steal your time. Those things will be pruned back just so that you're setting yourself up for a whole year's cycle. It's going to be a whole year before the Sun and Mercury is back into this place here. So whatever you do now this month, it's going to behoove you for the entire year. You might also be looking at health regimes and so forth, your diets, whatnot. The Sun and Mercury in this area is going to give you that extra time to allow yourself to be focused on it and start up whatever it is that you so desire. Now, Venus, this month here being in the sign of Sagittarius, is happy-go-lucky energy, very enthusiastic, very spontaneous and so forth. Now it has just passed Saturn as we start off top of the month. So here, late October, it's approaching this Saturn. And it being in your 7th house, Gemini, it has everything to do with how you feel connected to your partner, wanting to secure it. Some of you might just even be proposed to this month, locking it all in. That's what Saturn does. Think about the rings of Saturn, wanting to secure Venus on the inside of those rings. So in that case, good for you guys and congratulations. This will be probably the last couple of days of October. You'll see how that really works for you. But throughout the month of November, you'll also see how this is active. Then Venus will be passing into Capricorn, which is more Earth. It is serious and it is responsible, and it's looking at how can we grow and secure it even further. Also looking into money matters that you have shared with your partner, shared resources and the such, but also how you could be securing your long-term investments and so forth. But that's more so towards the end of the month. But Venus wants to have fun, it wants to express itself and come out to play, and you will have much of that here in November. Looking at Mars though, Mars, like in October, here as we start off the month of November, it's still doing that. I just mentioned shared resources, right? So of course that can have to do with the money that you have alongside with your significant other, but it also means maybe your savings account, investments accounts and so forth, perhaps even working on commissions and royalties, bonuses, that kind of thing can come into play. And Mars has a 2-year cycle. So right now, this is the area that it's working on. Whatever you can get completed and done and focused upon here this month, you'll be that much better off in this area for the next 2 years when you get your next chance, right? But Mars won't stay with us here for a full month. It will be moving into your 9th house, which is the area of higher education. It's research and so forth, and also the area of publishing or publishers. And if you're in need of, which many Gemini, I believe, could be, because some of you are just profound writers, right? So if you're looking for a new editor, publisher, this would be a great time. Mars can do the magic for you. And Jupiter also in your 5th house shows that there is so much expansion as far as your creativity goes. And in that creativity, I feel you're balancing it super well. Some of you are feeling that if you have had any writer's blocks, they're gone. Jupiter is just opening up your vision, your creative mind. So until end of summer of 2017, you will just feel that you're surfing this wave, so you want to use it to the max, right? You could also come to find people who could be very supportive of your artwork, your writing skills and abilities and talents and so forth. And you might even be able to attract people in foreign countries through this. And if so, that can also be very beneficial. Because I can see a lot of you Geminis working for the higher goal of really wanting to bring your expertise, your career to levels just of dream state possibilities, should I say. It's yes, it might feel a little lofty because it is Neptune, but Neptune keeps you going. It's your vision. And in that, keep your eye on that goal. It might take some time for you to achieve it, but when we see that Neptune is in this position, and right now it's retrograde, so you might be going back over old projects that might continue to ring a bell and nudging you to kind of, don't forget about me, go back and bring me back up. So you might be going over old files, old concepts, old stories that actually still has so much life to it that you can bring that back up to new life. We have also, I feel, a sense when your full moon here in Taurus this month, which will be on the 14th, by the way, knocks on the 12th door, or the 12th house for you. Again, a creative streak. The 12th houses are subconsciousness. So you might feel that something is being illuminated. Again, I feel from the past, things that you have been operating with earlier that might resurface and really deserve a new chance, a new round. So pay attention to what goes on. I'd say sit down, meditate. The 12th house is great for that. It will help you just attune and align yourself with those creative forces. The new moon, that is always when we place our intentions, and for this month it will be on the 29th in the sign of Sagittarius, which for you will be in your relationship sector. And the new moons always prompts new beginnings, right? So you could come to see that there might be new growth between you and your partner this month. And we did mention that whole Venus-Saturn thing of joining your forces, making it more serious, right? There could be more commitment coming in now. And I believe that many of you, Geminis, will just be more than happy for all that. Now, before I continue, I just want to say, if you wonder about my camera angle, because I've had so many emails and comments about it, listen to the end and you will see why I sit the way I do, if you care at all. So listen, top of the month, we have the Sun, which is the essence of you, who you are. Beautiful alignment to Neptune in your 10th house of career. This is you feeling inspiration directly from the source. And if you can take that and act upon it while it's there, I think you can find many blessings, Gemini, in this. Because on the 2nd, Mercury, which is your ruler and rules communication, is lining up with Pluto, which is all about transformation. It's powerful. You can really break through, and that whole week between the 2nd to the 7th, I feel that you can take this concept and not just turn it around, but there's definitely like a rebirth energy coming in. So the month is starting off pretty powerful in that respect. On the 4th, you could be surprised. I love when Venus and Uranus create a trine. It's the best transit that we can have. Happens twice a year. And here we are on this one. And Venus being here in your 7th house and Uranus for you in the 11th house, it is something between you and your partner, your hopes and your dreams coming together for you. And so either you might just find yourself surprising your partner, or it could be your partner also surprising you on some level. But it's energetic, it's impulsive, it is nice, it's electric, if we can put it that way. On the 15th, again, we have some very important talks coming in, energetically so. Mercury here with Mars is you carving your path towards where it is you're wanting to head, and I think you're positioning yourself now either towards wanting to give some talks, maybe publishing something. Some of you might be out and about traveling, which the ninth house also is indicating, and this is where Mars is now approaching, moving into that area for you. And if so, it will be successful, it would be good, just because everything is seemingly now quite harmonious. On the 18th, there is a little bit of a decision to be made, or there could also be slight miscommunications out and about, and it's Mercury and Neptune not really seeing eye to eye. So we could, if we're not aware, come to hear something that we think we're hearing, not necessarily what is being said. So that can create a little bit of a hiccup, but if you can catch yourself in it, then no harm done. There's a romantic date here, and that is on the 19th. Venus, love, romance, and Neptune. Neptune being the higher octave of Venus, so we have like a double whammy. Great energy here. And it is very intimate. Venus in the 8th house of love, romance, being very deeply connected. But it's also, on the other hand, tying into Neptune, which has to do with work, your career. So on this date, there might be news between either you and your partner, but also here with work. Maybe new contracts or something being promised or held up for you in a way that it gives you great hope. On the 22nd, 23rd, we have a lot of communication. Again, your ruler here is connecting first with Jupiter, then with Saturn. The connection to Jupiter is about where do we go from here? How do we expand outwardly? Who can we work and communicate with, partner with, that can be helpful in your creative areas? Because Jupiter is there in your 5th house for creativity and self-expression, or the businesses that you own. That's the area this rules. But of course, 5th house is also children, so it could be some interaction with children as well. But then Mercury wants to have a commitment here. It's connecting to Saturn by conjunction. And this is more so in the area of partnerships coming in. It could be a contractual agreement. In that case, it should be good, because Saturn always looks at longevity, you know, down the road, and how this is good for you. On the 24th, which brings us around the holiday, there is a little hiccup in the matrix. Beware. And hopefully it's not you bringing anything to the table for it, but you could be a part of it, as far as like being a witness to it, or in the group dynamic energy. But something is going to be discussed, and not everybody needs to seem to agree. And this is Jupiter, which has to do with justice. It's how we look at things. It's how we feel maybe a little righteous in our own opinions on this day. And then Pluto, which when not aspected in a great way, which then is transformational in a positive way for new growth. Well, when it clashes like this, we can have a big clash, because Jupiter is big, right? So that will be there for many to witness on this day, whether within home, family environments, but we can also come to see it could be a global situation taking place somewhere along the lines, because we're all under the influence of this energy. On the 25th, I feel there's more now you guys having some deeper talks about what happened. Your values are really strongly at hand, Venus here being conjunct to Pluto. So I'm feeling that if you didn't say anything or jumped in there the day before, well, today you're expressing it. You're expressing your view and what you think, what you feel about this. And Pluto is always all about not reinventing oneself, but starting off new cycles. It's the rebirth of this area where these two pop up is in your 8th house, having to do with values. So that could be spiritual, mental, emotional values, but it could also be financial values. So you'll see what this is going to play out for you. But we also, same day, on the 25th, we have Venus and Jupiter squaring off on each other. So Again, I'm feeling there's a carryover for what took place there on the 24th and how it's trying to regroup itself. Okay, so important days there around the holiday this year. Coming towards the end of the month, we do have some great news, unexpected news, and this is happening on the 26th, Gemini. And so either you're presenting good news to somebody or you might be the recipient of it. And I'm feeling that for you, it really connects with something you've been wishing or wanting or hoping for. And there's also some group energy connected to it as well. So any group or organizations, that too stands really positive today. We have on the 29th here, as we're closing off on the month, decisions to be made. And it could also affect you maybe a little bit romantically, as Venus and Uranus square off on each other. When we have that, what I feel here, since it's also the new moon coming in, that you will be looking at directions. Which way do we want to go? So maybe together you're going to have to join your forces just to see how things now can bring together the two of you on the same path, so it doesn't open up for a disagreement, which could happen, but it doesn't have to happen. It's all about finding that midpoint between both desires, right? So we're having to find not just our compatibility, but to find that midpoint. Now the new moon, that is when you place your intentions. Don't forget about doing that. It's in the area of your relationships, happening on the same day where this compromise is taking place. So keep that in mind, and your new moon will be sending out the energy of this day, 29th, into the future, carrying you forward for a whole full year until you get the chance next year. So listen, I will see you next month, and now you can just continue on and see what you see here as far as the end of this day. Listen, I thought I would address the comments that you guys have had and speculated about over a long time, and that is, why do I look this direction and into the camera this way? It has a couple of reasons, and of course for me, I'm more all about the information rather than the camera, but just to let you know, I have two very important reasons for why I sit the way I do. For one, I want to keep in touch with you on the camera, but then I have my board here with the transits, the dates, and so forth, because not all that information is stored mentally. But there's a deeper reason, and that is the third point, you, the board, and then the midpoint. Now the midpoint for me is when I access the future, okay, when I put it together. And you can try this for yourself as well, because see, if you look to the left, you're processing the past. That's where your memories go down memory lane. That's the past, that side of our brain. When we look to the right, we're accessing the future, right? That's where you go when you're speculating what will happen now in the future. You will go this direction with your eyes. So for me, I channel my information when I look in this direction. So for me, rather than sitting straight on, then it works for me. My information flows better. It's how I roll. Now, if I was to talk to you without thinking or considering the future, then I would look straight on like this, because then I'm just talking about the here and now, whatever, and looking at you. But as soon as I psychically start working, well, then I got to go like this to get that information in the future and download it from there. So that's why, no mystery, but now you know. See you next time.